Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have some great news for you guys, or mostly great news for me that I would like to share with you guys. Today is January 24th. It is a Monday. It is National Dental Match Day for Phase 2, and I have matched into a program and I'm so excited. So I matched into a GPR program, which stands for General Practice Residency, and I matched into St. Luke's University Health Network, and the location where I'll be attending is Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'm so excited. I'm going to be moving across the country, leaving California for the first time, and it's going to be an adventure. I'm going to learn a lot. This is a great program. I'm just super excited about what is to come. So this video is going to be about my application process cycle, about a DATpass. Another thing that I would like to mention is I'm really excited that I finally know what I want to do with my life. I have been confused or have felt confused with what I wanted to do in my life ever since I have left the military. I know I have had a lot of options, but I wasn't completely sure what I wanted to do. I'm pretty sure that I know what I want to do now, and I have a good plan of how I'm going to achieve it. So I'll share a little bit about that with you guys today. And I'll probably share some other things that I did in between, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Let's see, let's start from the beginning. So the last video I posted was about periodontics. Back in May of 2021, I was very interested in periodontics. I was totally gonna apply to that residency program, and I was gonna apply through the Navy. Anyways, I ended up getting dismissed from the Navy due to medical reasons, and I also decided that perio wasn't a good option for me because it would affect my hands too much. That was a hard decision. So then I started looking into other specialties. This might come out as a huge surprise and very, very random, but I looked into oral radiology. So I looked into oral radiology, and I actually did an externship at UCLA in oral radiology, a 3-day externship all day, and I shadowed the residents and I got to see what they do every day. So many people were recommending that I look into that specialty. So I did, and oral radiologists apparently get paid really well. You can work from home. You get paid really well. You can work from home. Those are the main reasons I looked into it. It didn't seem like such a bad option.
Of course, if we ignore the fact that I would work by myself in a dark room on a computer instead of working with patients and throwing away my dreams of creating beautiful smiles.
So I looked into it. I looked into it so much that I actually ended up applying. So I applied to oral radiology around September time. The application was due, I believe, September 15th, and I did my externship at UCLA around August time. I can't remember if it was the beginning or end of August. I had to submit all of my paperwork very fast. It was a very last minute thing, and then I wrote my personal statement. I was going on a road trip to Portland, to Portland, Oregon. My husband and my dog and I were going on a road trip, and I remember writing my personal statement in the Portland Airbnb, and I didn't know what to write, and at one point I was crying because I didn't know what to write, and I didn't know why I was applying to oral radiology. Okay, that right there is a huge sign that probably oral radiology wasn't for me. Anyways, I got through it. I wrote a draft. I wrote a couple more drafts like during our road trip, since it was so many hours in the car. I had my husband revise my personal statement. I found some good things to write about. I ended up getting 4 letter writers to write me letters of recommendations for this program, sent them my personal statement. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is I applied to oral radiology, and I had a pretty good shot of getting in. I actually ended up getting 2 interviews. I applied to 3 schools. I applied to Florida, Gainesville, Florida, which I never heard back from. I applied to Stony Brook University in New York, which I interviewed at. And I applied to UCLA, which I also interviewed at, and that was my top school. So Stony Brook and UCLA were both paid programs. So I really would not be losing anything if I got into those programs. Worst comes to worst, in my head, I was thinking, okay, I would do a 2-year residency. Worst comes to worst, I hate it. And then I decide to just be a general dentist afterwards. But at least I got paid for those 2 years. That's kind of what I was thinking. So I did my interviews. I prepared. I was super excited for these interviews. I practiced, I prepared. I think I did pretty well, but I was not accepted. I wasn't accepted into any of the programs, any of the 2 programs I interviewed at. But the thing is, they only take 2 applicants. So it wasn't too surprising that I didn't get in. Most of the applicants applying to these programs were already dentists. They were in GPR programs. They had so much research experience. They were presenting at these radiology conferences. So anyways, I was super bummed. I didn't get in. I envisioned my life in LA, going to UCLA, living in my condo in Culver City, and I don't know, just having a good life, being an oral radiologist, making money and working from home. Anyways, that didn't work out. And I think it was for the better, because I would have not liked my life as an oral radiologist. I know that I want to work with people, and that would be my biggest sacrifice with oral radiology. I wouldn't be working with people, and I went into dentistry to work with people. I took that as a sign. I think it was meant to be that I didn't get in. So after I didn't get in, I was bummed. I was very sad. I put in so much hard work into that application. The DATPass application is similar to the ATAS application. You have to put in all of your experiences. You have to ask for letters of recommendation, write a personal statement, all your achievements. It's a long thing. It took a lot of time and energy to apply, and it costs a lot of money to apply. I didn't get in, and then I decided, okay, I didn't get in, but I can make myself a better applicant for next year. Stony Brook University never emailed me saying I didn't get in, but it was 2 weeks of waiting. I emailed the program director asking if I can have an update on my application, and she told me that they have already selected their residents, but that I had a really strong application, and she recommends that I reapply next year. So that gave me a little bit more confidence to reapply next year. So I ended up attending an oral and maxillofacial radiology conference. It was a virtual conference. I paid $400 to attend this conference. And I'm only saying this money stuff because if you want to go into oral radiology, you should definitely go to this conference, because all the other applicants went to this conference. I'm pretty sure they went to this conference. I even saw some of the people that I interviewed with at this conference presenting posters at this conference, and I was just mind blown. I was like, well, okay, well, that's why I didn't get in, and these are the people that probably did get in. They're presenting posters at this radiology conference. I ended up going to this conference because I wanted to make myself a better applicant for next year. I really thought I had a chance, a shot, and that's what I was gonna do. So I went to this conference. It was a 3-day conference on Zoom. It was interesting, but the majority of the time I was not interested, and I think I cried after the first day. And I told my husband, I'm just really sad. I paid all this money and I'm not enjoying myself. So then that's when we decided that oral radiology wasn't for me. And then he said to me, this is a good thing. Now you actually know that you don't want to do this. And I really stuck it out to the very, very end to see if I could do it. And I couldn't. And I think it was meant to be that I didn't get in. Okay, that was a long story. That's the rejection part that I was referring to in my last video. Okay, so moving forward, I realized from this entire experience that I do want to specialize, or I do see myself specializing. So this might also come as a surprise because I haven't shared this on my YouTube. I am choosing to specialize in orthodontics, and I'm pursuing that route. And I know it's going to be very difficult, but I'm passionate about ortho, and I'm very happy to be pursuing this. Pursuing ortho actually makes me excited. that's gonna drive me to continue going. And even though it's hard, I think I can find a way to get in, hopefully. If not, then I most likely am gonna do simple ortho as a general dentist in, let's see, maybe November time, December time. I started telling my friends, some of my friends, 2 of my classmates matched into ortho. Actually, more of my classmates matched into orthos, but 2 of my better friends from dental school matched into ortho. Funny thing, both of their names are Nikki. I reached out to both of them and they gave me some great tips. I actually reached out to more people that matched into ortho at my school and everyone was very helpful. Most of the tips that I got were shadowing, research experience, grades, joining the ortho selective at school. I took everyone's advice and I'm doing the best I can. The first thing I did was I asked Dr. Snorkokian, which is the program director for ortho at USC, if I can join the ortho selective. And at first he said no because I was a 4th year, or I am a 4th year. And I asked him around November, December time, right before going on winter break. He said no, it's too late. Why are you just citing this right now? Like, no, it's too late. I basically said, I have a complicated situation. Can I please join it? Something like that. I don't remember what I said. And then he said, okay, fine. Get a signature from your GPD. So immediately that day, I got a signature to join the ortho selective for my GPD. And I told my GPD that I'm now interested in ortho. Everyone that I told, for example, my GPD and my other letter writers, they were a little bit surprised, which is to be expected because they wrote me letters for oral radiology. And, you know, I told them I really wanted to do oral radiology because I was telling myself that I really wanted to do oral radiology. I got the signature, I joined the ortho selective, and then I started shadowing in the ortho clinic every Tuesday. Oh, and kind of a backstory, I shadowed my orthodontist when I was in high school. And I originally wanted to do ortho before wanting to be a general dentist. I reached out to my orthodontist. I accidentally called the wrong number and called his partner, which is Dr. Frankel. And his office, coincidentally, is in LA, closer to where I live, compared to in the Valley. And since Dr. Frankel went to USC, he invited me to shadow him, and the call was to shadow him. I wanted to shadow an orthodontist. So he said, yeah, you can come shadow me. So I shadowed him a couple times. I had a great time. I learned a lot, and I'm excited to shadow more and to pursue ortho residency, basically. That is the new goal. When I shadowed Dr. Frankel, he asked me, so what am I doing next year since I'm a 4th year? And I told him I was probably just going to work. And he said, why don't you apply to general practice residency? That will help your application since you're gonna take a gap year. Schools like to see that you're continuing your education versus just working. And then I had to tell him, well, I actually applied to a different residency program, but I didn't get in. I don't know if I told him that I didn't get in part because it's probably obvious. And then he said, so it doesn't matter. A lot of people apply to multiple specialties. They have backup plans. So I was like, what? You can apply to multiple specialties? So yeah, apparently you can. All you do is change your personal statement. So I used the same letters that were on my application. The thing with this is, I don't know what my letter writers wrote. I'm assuming they most likely wrote that I would make a good oral radiologist. So I don't know if the GPR letter readers said anything about that. Anyways, in my personal statement, I said I was interested in specializing. I wrote oral radiology, but I also said I'm interested in specialties such as ortho. So that day when I went home, I looked on the DATPass and I found some schools whose deadline didn't pass. I found a couple schools whose deadline was January 1st. I want to say some of them had the deadline of December 15th or something like that. And I believe that's when I applied. And then some had the deadline of January 1st, something like that. And by the way, I wrote my personal statement or rewrote my personal statement in about a day because I was running out of time. I really just had to get an application in. And I really didn't think I would get any interviews, but I was still putting an application in because I knew about the post-match process. So Dr. Frankel told me that he made getting into GPRs seem kind of easy in the way that he's like, there's always programs available. You should still apply it, even if you don't get even if you don't match into a program. There's always post-match. So I asked them, what's post-match? And post-match is if a program doesn't match you, or if you don't match into a program, there's always some programs that have unmatched position, or that have unfilled positions, and there's applicants that didn't match into a program. So those programs want to fill their positions, so then the applicants have the opportunity to call those programs and basically request a post-match interview. And you can basically interview that day or the next day and hopefully get a spot in their program. And you guys, let me tell you, today, January 24th, match day, I already matched. I got a call at around 10 a.m. and it was a program director from the VA, I think Los Angeles VA. It was an 818 number, and she said she got my contact info from one of the directors from the USC GPR, because I reached out to the director at the USC GPR asking if there was any way I can apply to that program. And this was like a couple of weeks ago in January, where I totally missed the deadline, obviously. I told them I was interested just in case they have post-match positions, just in case they don't fill all their positions. I wanted them to consider me. So it's really nice that that program director gave my information to a different program director, and that other program director called me asking if I wanted to do a post-match interview. I didn't do the post-match interview because I matched, so I ended up telling her, thank you, but I actually matched into a program, and then that was the end of the conversation. But my point here is, if you want to do a general practice residency, or if you're watching this video way later and you think you waited too long and it's too late for you to apply, it's not too late to apply. I even have an interview for February 1st right now for a random school. It's in Nebraska, but still there's options. Even after match day, there's programs that do non-match that are available. So look into those if you want to keep learning and enhance your dental education, or if you want to specialize, because apparently general practice residencies could help your application compared to just working. I don't know. That's what one person told me. And that's the main reason why I'm deciding to do it. But I'm excited because this program, the program that I'm going to, teaches simple orthodontics, and I want to do ortho, so I'm going to learn some simple orthodontics, and I hope that really helps my application. They also teach you how to place implants and how to do molar endo, which are also things I'm really interested in, because if I decide to not do ortho, most likely I won't decide to do ortho, but I'm thinking worst case scenario, I apply and don't get in and have to work. At least I can find a good job because I'll be more experienced with more difficult cases. So a GPR in the long run is going to help me. So my GPR application experience, I applied extremely late, very late in December. I got 2 interviews, one at Louisiana State, and it was kind of strange because it was a phone interview, and the other one at St. Luke's University. So that one was on Zoom, and I had about 4 faculty, 4 different doctors interview me. I believe it was 2 pediatric dentists, 1 periodontist, and 1 general dentist, I believe. And that interview, they asked me some really hard questions. I really enjoyed that interview though. I really felt like they were trying to get to know me. Another thing I want to mention is I interviewed for that program the day before you have to submit rankings for GPR. So you have to submit rankings, I believe, a week before. You had to submit rankings on the 14th. So we had a week long of waiting. And I interviewed for that program on the 13th, the day before. So I feel so blessed that they offered me an interview. And another thing I want to mention is I probably wouldn't have received interviews if I didn't contact these schools directly. So I believe it was maybe January 10th or January 5th, around the first week of January. I didn't hear back, probably because all the program directors were on winter break celebrating New Year's and the holidays. So I emailed all these programs and I said, hi, my name is Erica. I applied to your program. I would like to check in on my application, something like that. And most of them got back to me. For example, the one in Nebraska offered me an interview in February. By the way, I applied to very random schools because I missed most deadlines. St. Luke's University got back to me. I interviewed. Louisiana State got back to me. I interviewed. I applied to 6 schools total. I'll be going to Pennsylvania. My program starts July. I don't know what day in July, maybe July 1st. And it's going to be a new adventure. And then I hope to apply to Ortho Residency this upcoming cycle for 2023. Fingers crossed for me. If you have any advice for ortho, please let me know. Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to my long story. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Congrats to all of you who had matched this cycle. If you are watching this video because you applied to residency programs, specialty programs, and matches coming up, keep your fingers crossed. I wish you guys the best. You guys will get in. If you don't match into a program, be prepared to post-match. Be prepared with your emails, with your CVs, with your 2x2 pictures to send to the programs on match day in case you don't match, because there's always programs that don't fill all their positions, and there's always another chance for you to get in that same cycle. So just be prepared. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.